Too many people go through life shrinking themselves, playing small, dimming their light, settling for less than what they're capable of. They hold back because they don't want to make others uncomfortable. They downplay their dreams because they're afraid of failing. They stay in the background because stepping forward means stepping into the unknown. But playing small doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve the people around you. And it definitely doesn't serve the purpose you were put on this earth to fulfill. You were not created to be average. You were not designed to just get by, to live a life of mediocrity, to stay stuck in situations that don't challenge you. You were made for greatness. But greatness requires you to step up. It requires you to stop hiding behind excuses. It requires you to stop waiting for permission and start taking action. Fear is the number one reason people play small. The fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of stepping outside their comfort zone. But fear is nothing more than a chain that keeps you locked in the same place. The moment you realize that fear is a liar, that it only has power if you listen to it, is the moment you start moving differently. Every great person you admire has felt fear. Every successful person has faced doubt. The difference is they didn't let it stop them. They moved anyway. They stepped out anyway. They believed in themselves even when no one else did. Playing small doesn't just hurt you, it hurts the world. Because there are people out there who need what you have to offer. There are lives that could be changed by your gifts, your voice, your vision. But if you stay quiet, if you keep doubting yourself, if you keep playing small, those people never get to experience the impact you were meant to make. And that's the real tragedy. Not that you might fail, but that you might never even try. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for everything to be just right. Stop telling yourself that you're not ready. Nobody is ever fully ready. Growth doesn't happen before the leap. It happens because of it. The moment you step up, the moment you decide to take your place, to own your power, to stop hiding, is the moment your life begins to shift. People will always have opinions. Some will doubt you, some will criticize you, some will try to make you feel like you're too much, like your dreams are too big, like you should just stay in your place. Ignore them, because those who try to keep you small are only revealing their own limitations. Their fears have nothing to do with you. Your job is not to fit in, it's to rise up, it's to break barriers. Is to show others what's possible by refusing to settle for anything less than what you were created for. If you've been playing small, it's time to stop. If you've been holding back, it's time to step forward. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. No more excuses, no more hesitation, no more shrinking to make others comfortable. You are powerful. You are capable, and it's time to start living like it. Because the world doesn't need another person playing small. The world needs you to show up fully, to own your greatness, and to shine so bright that others find the courage to do the same. Real power isn't loud. It doesn't come from trying to control everything, from proving yourself to others, or from constantly being in a fight with life. Real power comes from peace, the kind of peace that isn't shaken by other people's opinions, by temporary setbacks, or by the chaos around you. The moment you understand this, you become untouchable, because when you have peace within, nothing outside of you can take it away. Most people think power comes from force, from dominance, from making things happen on their terms. They think that if they push hard enough, argue long enough, fight loud enough, they will win. But what they don't realize is that when you constantly live in stress, anger, or frustration, you're not in control. Your emotions are controlling you. And when your emotions control you, you give your power away. True power is not reacting to every little thing that upsets you. It's not chasing validation. It's not proving yourself to people who don't even matter in the long run. Power is being able to walk away from negativity without looking back. It's knowing that your energy is too valuable to waste on things that don't serve you. It's understanding that peace is not something you find, it's something you create. And the moment you protect your peace, you reclaim your power. Look around. The most successful, the most respected, The most impactful people in the world are the ones who have mastered peace. They don't move with desperation. They don't let small things shake them. They don't waste time on meaningless arguments. They know that their energy is their greatest asset, and they protect it at all costs. They choose their battles wisely. They stay focused on their purpose, and they don't allow distractions to pull them away from their vision. But finding peace isn't always easy. It requires discipline. It requires you to stop engaging in things that drain you, whether that's toxic relationships, meaningless drama, or even your own self-doubt. It requires you to stop allowing external things to dictate your internal state. It requires you to trust that not every action needs a reaction, that not every insult needs a response, and that not every situation deserves your attention. Some people will try to pull you into their chaos. They will test your patience, provoke you, and try to bring you down to their level. But when you have real peace, you don't engage. You don't get distracted. You don't lower yourself just to prove a point, because you understand that your peace is your greatest strength, and you refuse to let anyone take it from you. There's power in walking away from what no longer serves you. There's power in choosing silence over unnecessary conflict. There's power in knowing that you don't have to react to everything, that you don't have to prove yourself to anyone, that you don't have to let the noise of the world disturb the calm within you. The more you master your peace, the more powerful you become, because true power is not about controlling others, it's about controlling yourself. So protect your peace, guard it with everything you have, choose it every single day. Because when you operate from a place of peace, you move differently. You think clearer, you make better decisions, you attract the right energy, and most importantly, you step into a level of power that nothing and no one can take away from you. Faith is not just believing, it's not just hoping, it's not just sitting back and waiting for things to happen. Faith requires action. It requires movement. It requires you to take steps even when you don't see the full path ahead. Too many people say they have faith, but their actions don't match their words. They pray for opportunities, but never prepare for them. They dream of success, but never put in the work. They wait for the right time without realizing that the right time is the moment they decide to start. Faith is not passive. It's not about sitting still, wishing and expecting things to fall into place. You can't just hope for a better life while making the same choices that keep you stuck. You can't just pray for success and then refuse to step outside your comfort zone. You can't just believe that things will change without doing your part to make that change happen. Faith without action is nothing more than wishful thinking. Think about a farmer. He doesn't just sit on his porch praying for a harvest. He plants the seeds. He waters the soil. He removes the weeds. He works, knowing that the outcome is not fully in his control, but trusting that if he does his part, nature will do the rest. That's how faith works. You do everything you can, and then you trust that what's meant for you will come in due time. Some people are waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, the perfect circumstances before they take action. But faith means moving forward even when things aren't perfect. It means trusting that even if you don't have all the answers, you have enough to take the next step. It means starting where you are, using what you have, and believing that what you need will come as you go. You don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You just have to trust that the next step will reveal itself once you move. Fear is the biggest enemy of faith. It keeps people stuck, overthinking, hesitating, doubting themselves. But fear and faith cannot exist in the same space. One will always overpower the other. If you let fear control you, you will stay where you are, making excuses, watching opportunities pass you by. But if you let faith lead you, you will move forward even when it's uncomfortable, even when you don't feel ready, even when you don't know exactly how things will work out. Faith also requires resilience, because the truth is, just because you take action doesn't mean things will happen overnight. Just because you believe doesn't mean the journey will be easy. Sometimes you will put in the work and see no immediate results. Sometimes you will try and fail. Sometimes you will wonder if you're even on the right path. But that's the test of faith. Do you keep going when things get tough, or do you give up because the results didn't come fast enough? The people who succeed in life are not always the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who keep moving, keep showing up, keep believing, even when things don't go their way. They understand that faith is a process, that every delay has a purpose, that every setback is a setup for something greater. They don't just wait for doors to open, they knock, they push, they keep moving until they find a way through. So if you say you have faith, let your actions prove it. If you believe in your dreams, start working toward them today. If you're trusting for a breakthrough, do your part to make room for it. Because faith is not just about what you believe, it's about what you do. And when you move with faith, nothing can stop you. Pain has a way of making you question everything. It makes you wonder if you did something wrong, if you deserve what's happening, if life is punishing you for some mistake you made along the way. When you're in the middle of it, when the weight feels unbearable, when the nights feel endless, when the world seems to be closing in on you, it's hard to see anything good in it. But pain is not punishment. It is preparation. It is shaping you, molding you, refining you into something stronger than you were before. Everybody wants success, happiness, and fulfillment, but few people want the process that comes with it. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. Strength isn't built when things are easy. Diamonds don't form without pressure. Gold isn't purified without fire. And the version of you that will reach your greatest potential can only be revealed through struggle. The pain you're feeling right now, it's not here to destroy you. It's here to prepare you for what's coming. Look at any great story, any successful person, any legend you admire, and you'll see the same pattern. Before the breakthrough, there was struggle. Before the success, there was failure. Before the victory, there was pain. The greatest people in history didn't become great because life was easy for them. They became great because they endured. They kept going when others gave up. They took the lessons from their pain and used them to become wiser, stronger, better. You have to change the way you look at pain. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Every hardship carries a lesson. Every struggle builds a skill. Every moment of suffering is sharpening something inside you that will be necessary for the journey ahead. Some of the strongest, most resilient people you will ever meet are the ones who have walked through fire. The ones who have faced loss, failure, and disappointment, but refuse to let it break them. Instead, they let it shape them. They let it teach them. They let it turn them into something unstoppable. Pain also has a way of revealing who you really are. It strips away the masks, the illusions, the distractions, and forces you to face yourself. It shows you what you're made of. It forces you to dig deep, to find strength you never knew you had, to grow in ways you never thought possible. You may not see it now, but the very thing that's hurting you today could be the thing that strengthens you tomorrow. The heartbreak that nearly shattered you could be the reason you learn to love yourself fully. The failure that embarrassed you could be the lesson that leads you to your greatest success. The struggle that feels impossible right now could be the story that inspires someone else years from now. Nobody escapes pain. It is part of life, part of the human experience. But the difference between those who rise and those who fall is in how they respond to it. Do you let it break you, or do you let it build you? Do you stay down, or do you get up stronger? Because in the end, pain is not here to punish you. It is here to prepare you. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner you can stop running from it and start using it to become the person you were meant to be. There comes a point in life when you realize that no matter how much you plan, how much you prepare, how much you try to control, some things are simply beyond you. There are moments when life humbles you, when your strength isn't enough, when your knowledge falls short, and when your best efforts don't get you the results you expected. And it's in those moments that you have a choice. You can either live in frustration, questioning everything, or you can trust that there is something greater than you at work. Trust is not easy, It's not easy to believe in something you can't see, to have faith in a plan you don't fully understand, to walk a path where the destination isn't clear. People want guarantees. They want to know that if they do the right thing, everything will fall into place. But that's not how faith works. Faith is moving forward even when you don't have all the answers. It's believing that even in the chaos, even in the uncertainty, something greater is guiding you. Think about the moments in your life when things didn't go the way you wanted, the doors that closed, the opportunities you lost, the relationships that ended. At the time, it felt like failure, like loss, like punishment. But now, looking back, you see the bigger picture. You see that what you thought was rejection was actually protection. You see that the thing you wanted so badly would have kept you from something better. You see that the struggle that almost broke you actually built you into the person you are today. That's the power of trust. But trust is not passive. It's not about sitting back and waiting for things to happen. It's about doing your part and believing that the rest is being taken care of. A farmer doesn't just pray for a harvest. He plants the seeds, he waters the soil, and he trusts that in time the crops will grow. That's how life works. You have to plant the seeds of effort, of discipline, of consistency, and then trust that the results will come. Some people spend their whole lives worrying about what's next, worrying about what people think, worrying about whether they will succeed or fail. But worry is just wasted energy. It doesn't change the outcome. It doesn't make things better. All it does is steal your peace. The moment you learn to trust, to let go of the need to have everything figured out, you free yourself. You start to live with a sense of peace, knowing that you don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. There is a plan greater than yours. There is a force working in your favor, even when you don't see it. The setbacks, the delays, the unanswered prayers, they are all part of a bigger picture that you may not understand right now, but one day you will. So stop fighting against life. Stop doubting yourself. Stop thinking that every challenge is a sign that you're on the wrong path. Sometimes the struggle is just a preparation for something bigger. When you trust in something greater, you walk differently. You stop fearing failure because you know that even failure is leading you somewhere. You stop chasing after things that aren't meant for you because you know that what's meant for you will come. You stop living with doubt and start moving with confidence because you understand that you are being guided, that you are being protected, that you are exactly where you need to be. Listen to me just for a moment. I need you to hear this, not just with your ears, but with your soul. Because right now, somebody out there is holding on too tight, gripping too hard, carrying a weight that was never meant to be theirs. Letting go is one of the hardest things a person can do. There's something about human nature that makes us want to hold on, to cling to what's familiar, even when it's hurting us. We tell ourselves that if we just try a little harder, if we just give it a little more time, things will change. But deep down, we know the truth. Some things, some people, some situations are not meant to stay in our lives, and yet we resist. The fear of the unknown is powerful. It keeps people stuck in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, and mindsets that limit them. We tell ourselves that letting go means giving up, that detaching means we don't care. But the reality is the exact opposite. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away. Not out of weakness, not out of bitterness, but because you finally understand that your energy, your peace, and your future are too valuable to waste on things that no longer serve you. People hold on to pain because it's familiar. We replay old conversations in our minds, relive past mistakes, and carry grudges like heavy suitcases. We think that if we hold on long enough, we can change what happened, that we can rewrite history. But the past is set in stone, and no amount of thinking, regretting, or wishing can undo it. The only thing we have control over is what we choose to carry forward. Some people are carrying so much weight from their past that they don't have the strength to step into their future. Detaching doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean you erase the lessons or pretend the pain didn't happen. It means you stop letting it control you. It means you stop giving your power away to things you can't change. If someone walked away from you, let them go. If an opportunity slipped through your fingers, trust that something better is coming. If life didn't go the way you planned, understand that the plan wasn't meant for you. What's meant for you will never require you to beg, chase, or force it to stay. One of the hardest things to detach from is other people's opinions. Too many people are living their lives trying to meet expectations that were never theirs to begin with. They stay in careers they don't love, relationships they don't believe in, and places they've outgrown just because they're afraid of what people will say. But the truth is, no matter what you do, people will always have something to say. You can be the kindest, hardest working person in the world, and someone will still find a reason to criticize you. So why live your life for them? Why hold yourself back trying to please people who don't even walk in your shoes? Detaching means choosing yourself. It means standing in your truth, even when it's uncomfortable. It means trusting that your worth is not determined by what you hold on to, but by what you're willing to release. It means understanding that life is always moving, always shifting, and the only way to grow is to let go of what no longer fits. The version of you that survived the past is not the version of you that will thrive in the future. Growth requires release. Strength requires surrender. And sometimes the most powerful decision you will ever make is to simply let go. People spend their whole lives chasing control. They try to control their relationships, their careers, their reputation, and even the way others see them. They plan every detail, map out every step, and expect life to follow their script. But life doesn't work that way. Life has a way of reminding you in the most unexpected and sometimes painful ways that control is nothing more than an illusion. No matter how much you plan, no matter how hard you try, there will always be things outside your reach. Moments that don't go the way you expected, and situations that force you to surrender. The idea of control feels comforting. It gives people a sense of security, a belief that if they do everything right, they can avoid disappointment, pain, or failure. But the truth is, control is an exhausting game that no one ever really wins. You can do everything right and still face setbacks. You can give your all to a relationship and still watch it fall apart. You can work harder than anyone in the room and still not get the opportunity you wanted. And when these things happen, people struggle. They blame themselves, replay every moment, wondering where they went wrong. But maybe they didn't go wrong at all. Maybe they were just fighting a battle they were never meant to fight in the first place. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean you stop working hard or that you stop striving for greatness. It means understanding the difference between what's in your hands and what's not. It means learning to focus on effort instead of outcomes, action instead of anxiety. You cannot control the way people feel about you, but you can control how you treat them. You cannot control whether an opportunity comes your way, but you can control how prepared you are when it does. You cannot control the storms that come into your life, but you can control how you stand in the rain. People waste so much energy trying to force things that aren't meant for them. They chase relationships that are falling apart. They try to change people who don't want to change. They resist shifts that are pushing them towards something greater because they're afraid of what they don't understand. But the moment you stop fighting life, the moment you stop resisting the natural flow of things, you start to find peace. Real peace isn't in controlling everything. It's in knowing that even when things don't go your way, you will be okay. Look at nature. The ocean doesn't fight the tide. The trees don't resist the wind. The seasons change whether we like it or not. Everything in nature understands that change is constant. And the more you try to control something that is meant to move, the more frustration you create for yourself. Imagine holding onto a rope that's pulling away from you. The tighter you grip, the more it burns your hands. But the moment you let go, the pain stops. That's how life works. The more you try to force things, the more resistance you create. The more you learn to trust the process. The more you allow life to unfold in ways you never expected. There is power in surrender. Not weakness, not defeat, but power. Power in understanding that you don't have to have all the answers. That you don't have to control every outcome. Power in knowing that even when things seem uncertain, you are still being led exactly where you need to be. Some of the greatest blessings in life come when you release the need to control and start trusting that what's meant for you will always find its way.